All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about a really fundamental shift in how businesses can think about performance. Moving away from all that guesswork and random training and moving toward a real system that turns what your people do every single day into results you can actually measure. Now, this is a pretty powerful idea, right? Learning is happening in your business every day, whether you've planned for it or not. So the real question is it happening by accident or is it happening by design? Because right now, that invisible academy, it's probably pretty chaotic and it's definitely costing you more than you realize. So let's pull back the curtain on this so-called invisible academy. Let's look at the real concrete problems it causes. The kinds of problems that so many businesses just write off as the normal cost of doing business. Okay, problem number 1, onboarding. You know how it goes. Without a clear system, new hires are basically left to fend for themselves. They watch other people, they make mistakes, they learn eventually, but that trial and error process means that every single new person learns differently. And right from day one, you're building massive inconsistency into your team's performance. And then there's this one, which is a huge risk for any company. All that amazing, hard-won expertise from your most senior people, well, it's not actually a company asset. It's just in their heads. And when they leave, when they walk out that door for the last time, all of that critical knowledge goes right out with them, for good. And all of this creates this constant drag on your managers and team leaders. They end up spending all their time in this reactive loop, just fixing the same mistakes over and over and over again. Instead of proactively designing a high-performing team, they're stuck playing firefighter, putting out the same fires that a proper system would have prevented in the first place. And here is the absolute key takeaway. This is the big shift in thinking. What we've been talking about, it's not a training problem. Sending people on another course isn't going to fix any of this. It is a fundamental infrastructure problem. It's like a missing piece of your business's foundation. Which actually brings us to a really powerful way to think about your business. Let's talk about the foundational systems, the pillars, if you will, that every single successful company is built on. Think about it. Every business has a system for managing money, right? You've got your accounting software, you have a system for sales and customers, like a CRM, and of course, you have an operations system to actually deliver your product or service. But there's a fourth, absolutely critical pillar that is almost always completely missing, a dedicated infrastructure for growing the capability of your people. And this shows you exactly how it all fits together. That fourth pillar, capability infrastructure, it isn't just some nice to have. It's the bridge that makes sure your people can actually use your other systems effectively. It's the thing that directly connects your big picture strategy to what your team does day in and day out. Okay, so how do we go from this idea to something real, something you can actually build? Well, to really get what this system is, it's just as important to be super clear on what it isn't. Right. So this is not about buying some generic library of courses. It's not another learning management system that just sits on a server somewhere totally separate from the real work. No. A capability infrastructure is custom built for your specific roles. It's embedded directly into the daily workflow. And it's all about demonstrating real competence, not just ticking a box. And it's designed from the ground up to drive performance you can actually see and measure. So here's the engine. This is how it actually works. The day-to-day work your people are already doing, that creates evidence of what they can do. That evidence is captured to systematically build their skills, which then develop into proven capability. That capability is what drives consistent, high-level performance, which at the end of the day delivers the business outcomes you're after. See, it's a direct, unbroken line from a daily task straight to the bottom line. And if you look under the hood, this whole academy is built from a few key parts. There's a precise map of what great actually looks like in every single role. There are clear, structured pathways so people know how to get promoted. You've got practical playbooks right there in the workflow, and dashboards that give leaders a real-time view of their team's capability, without having to micromanage everyone. All right, let's talk about the payoff. This all sounds good, but what happens to the numbers? When you stop hoping for good performance and you start engineering it, what are the results you can actually expect? Let's start with the big one, the return on investment. Even if you model this out conservatively, say in a small 15-person business, you're looking at over 400% in the first year. I mean, that is a massive return by any standard. And what does it cost to get that kind of incredible return?
Well, the total annual investment to build and run this entire infrastructure, it's typically less than 0.5% of your total payroll. Less than half of 1%.
And that tiny investment looks even smarter when you put it next to the alternative, right? Replacing just one person can cost you 20 to 30% of their salary. The cost of rework and inconsistent performance just keeps adding up forever. A compliance failure? That could be catastrophic. Suddenly, investing less than 0.5% doesn't look like a cost at all. It looks like performance insurance.
And the benefits go way beyond just the financial ROI. Businesses that do this see massive improvements across the board. Onboarding gets 60% faster, performance consistency shoots up by 75%, and staff retention gets a 40% boost. Because for the first time, people can see a clear path forward in their careers right there with you.
Now, for the longest time, this kind of sophisticated system was really only an option for giant corporations with huge budgets. But that's all changed. This kind of enterprise-grade infrastructure is now completely accessible and affordable for businesses of pretty much any size, from a small 10-person team all the way up to an organization with 1,000 people or more.
So let's bring this all together. At the end of the day, this is about making a conscious, strategic choice to stop leaving performance up to chance and to start engineering a culture of high performance by design.
When you put this kind of infrastructure in place, it unlocks a whole new level of maturity for your organization. Your onboarding gets faster and way more consistent. Your best people stick around because they finally see a future. That performance variation we talked about, it shrinks. You get ironclad proof of compliance for audits. And, this is the big one, for growing companies, you can finally scale your business without watering down the quality and standards that made you successful in the first place.
And that really leaves us with one final question to think about. What would change in your business starting tomorrow if high performance was no longer something you just hoped for, but was something you could systematically and reliably design?